Oh, hi. You're here again. You're here again. Well, it's, oh, look at this. Ooh, two-tone face. Ooh, spooky. I don't have a light. No, it's a bit better. Okay. Yeah, look at that. He is mulatto in a 50-50 way. Is he Irish? Is he Jewish? Maybe he is Amish. Everybody thinks he's a nice. He's got Ukrainian eyes. Do, 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 do. I hope you're all keeping well today. It's a beautiful. Let me get it. Like fucking Dracula here, having to avoid the sun. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a bit knackered from my wonderful adventures up in County Westmeath, but it was all good. The buzz is coming down. You know how it is. And I saw a thing there that 25,000 Irish families offered to put up Ukrainian refugees, and when they saw dog is rats, they 24,300 either didn't call back or refused. And we still haven't seen any proof of these politicians or celebrities having taken in any of these refugees that they were thinking about. Okay, the posh neighborhoods where I live, they've moved some of them in, and they're around the village and around the town, and you can see the snobbery in action. See, the middle class are the biggest snobs of all, the biggest bigots of all. Like, that's the whole thing. The 25,000 who said yes, and initially, of the 700 who actually stuck to their guns and took the people in, I actually respect them, you know. But the 23,000, who's the bigot now? Who's the bigot now, you phonies? It was wonderful when you were virtue signaling, wasn't it? But you can see now that they're like, okay, we'll let you stay in your home, but, stay away from me, this kind of thing. And you see the real middle class snobbery, But they don't have to tell me about it. I grew up in the Ballymun Flats. I'm well aware of what these motherfuckers are like. Well aware, And their bigotry existed long before, dog is rats! They had it towards working class people like me. And this is why, like, the Labour Party now has been totally taken over by rich people. And people who vote in rich neighbourhoods who vote for the likes of Vanna Bachik, and they're still trying to claim that they're working class people's party. But yeah. It was... You see, the thing is with it's the dishonesty of it, Like, you're not from the Ukraine where there's a war going on. And it's horrible and frightening. And you capitalize on the suffering of the Ukrainian people to try and get you in the door of a country. It's just wrong. It's actually evil. It's evil. And I'll tell you why. Think of it, you're exploiting the suffering and pain of real people going through a war by pretending you're one of them and capitalizing on their suffering and their pain and their grief in order to get yourself sorted in another country. I'm sorry, that's evil. That's evil and wicked. Let's call it what it is. You imagine you lived on a street, right? And a neighbor's house burnt to the ground. And before before the neighbor could put in the insurance application to get their life back, you somehow filled out their insurance forms and claimed for the fire that happened in their house and didn't happen in yours. That's exactly the wickedness that these people who are not Ukrainians, and you can sit there justifying it all you want, and maybe some of these people, I'm sure lots of them, maybe have it, in some levels I don't blame them, but to exploit someone who's going through a war, okay, would you want people who would put a claim in on someone else's house that would burn to the ground, living next door to you? By extension, would you want people who exploited cynically the suffering of real war refugees living next to you because they thought they could do a quick one? No one's thinking about that. Oh, they must be wonderful because they come from Africa. They're Arabs. They must be wonderful. Arabs. They must automatically all be wonderful, or beautiful people. You know, this is the mentality, and there's been stories already circulating of real Ukrainian refugees who have been treated very poorly indeed, by Irish and other families who are taking them in. Some were looking for free house servants. Others were looking for a hot young chick and didn't get one. They might have got a woman who was 40 and she has 2 kids. Or she's not, she's 50 and a couple of, or something like that. She might have a disabled kid. Or they're not treating them well because they thought they were going to be the star of the neighborhood with their pet Ukrainian family. That's really what these types are up to. So, the phoniness and dishonesty and fakeness of human beings never ceases to amaze me. It's just, where is this the future? Is this the future of mankind? To be an absolute woke phony with your eyes completely turned to reality in order to mandate globalist political imperatives. Globalist political imperatives. Is this what we're heading? Will it be like this in this? Captain's log, stardate 2204. We've been sent to the planet Earth to pick up refugees from a Ukrainian colony. Myself and the rest of the British crew are down the transporter room to welcome the Ukrainian refugees. They appear. My God, Spock! Dog is rat. Dog is dog rat? Dog is rat. It would appear, Captain, that indeed logic would suggest that dog is indeed rat. Captain, I cannot get enough halal Delilian crystals to keep the Enterprise going. Lieutenant Uhura, what have you got to say about this? Well, baby, I'm starting to think that I might be a Ukrainian, and that's what it would. That's literally how absurd it will be. I love. People. Oh, DeForest Kelly. My God, Jim. Spock, what's wrong with you? Can't you see dog is rat? People slag off Star Trek, but they were actually quite. DeForest Kelly was a superb actor. I've seen him in cowboy movies and stuff like that. And there was nothing wrong with William Shatner's acting, nothing at all. And although he did do this now and again, it wasn't all the time. And he was unbelievably handsome as well back in the day. As well, the women fell in love with him. But all the women went mad for Spock too, Leonard Nimoy. Did you ever hear that, like The Legend of Bilbo Baggins? That song he did, it's really funny. He battled a troll. He fought a dragon. Bilbo, the greatest little hobbit of them all. You could change that to like, he ate halal. He went rat dog as rat. Faisal, the greatest Islamic Ukrainian of them all. You could do that. You just have to parry the whole thing. It's the only way your sanity can remain. You could do other actors too, like Christopher Walken. It's dogs. The dog is. Look, fellas, the dog is rat. That'd be Christopher Walken. Who else can I do? Who Al Pacino? How did Al Pacino do it? Well, it'll be two Al Pacinos. It's like the soft Al Pacino, Fredo, Fredo. Don't, don't you ever tell me, Fredo, the dog is rat, ever again. And then the kind of loud Al Pacino, hoo-ah! The kid may be a lot of things, but he's not dog is rat. That'll be the good one. Who else could I do? I don't know. I can't do any. I could Christopher Walken's best one. Like, I'm not gonna do Dustin Hoffman. Like the dog is the rat. The dog is the rat. That's also like Woody Allen as well. It's like, oh my god, the dog is the rat. The dog is the rat. Yeah, I like Christopher Walken. The fellas, the dog is the rat, fellas. The dog is the rat. Dog is the rat. I got me an itch. Only dog is rat. Can scratch. Yeah, but yeah, that's what it's like, and it's just the lie. Is there any honesty in any politics anymore? Well, I was saying it's just not. It's just everything is a lie. Everything is a lie. And to see the Irish government and politicians falling over themselves, they're now, the Irish government right now, I want you all, and those of you who are still stupid enough to elect, to vote for people, remember and observe, motherfucker, observe that the present Irish government, condescending quotation marks, condescending quotation marks, is basically the Ukrainian government in exile. Our politicians have given up on the Irish people because they didn't get the full and total ownership and stewardship of us over the whole what's the word, needlecraft. And they sort of said we couldn't defeat them completely because those of us, what we had, we held. And in other countries too, right? But the Irish government are so, their hatred of the Irish citizens is at an absolute pinnacle right now of the Irish people, that they decide that they want to be the de facto government of Ukraine. So Micheál Martin, Varadkar, Eamon Ryan, all of them. You even had a situation where the Justice Minister actually said this week, we don't want to do it, but we might have to take your home and your business off you and give it to Ukrainians. Now, I've been telling you that since April 2022, Western governments have openly declared war on their citizens. And those, that can't be, let's just hear me out, okay? I'll just do it from the Irish point of view, right? The first thing that happened was they locked us down and put restrictions on us. Martial law, okay? The second thing is they sent biological weapons at us. Pfizer biological weapons. And you say, well, that's a bit high. That's a bit over the top. Well, if it was just a choice with no provisos, it would just be a choice. But we had a situation where you couldn't get on a plane, or in some countries a train. You couldn't go to restaurants. You couldn't move to go certain places. And you were told that your job was dependent upon it. It goes from being an option to a biological weapon, an ordnance, an anti-personnel ordnance. So that's, your government attacked you with biological weapons. If they gave you ultimatums that you had to have the transubstantiation of the sacred needlecraft in order to go about the life that you had in 2019, you had been attacked by biological weapons made by you know who. The company beginning with the letter P, the company beginning with the letter M, and the company beginning with the letters J and J. It's as simple as that. This is direct language. You have been so conditioned by the media not to understand direct language. and also to have satire removed from you. That you have been gaslighted to the point where they're coming at you with biological weapons and saying, "This will, if you don't take this biological weapon, this ordnance in a needle graft, you will not have your life." That's not medication, that's not public health policy, that's not even coercion, that's out and out attack. Okay? And your movement's restricted by digital passports. And now the final part is the scorched earth policy. The Irish government have such a pathological hate. You can't even begin to understand how much your politicians, not just in Ireland, absolutely despise you to the core of their guts. And if you have a situation where a justice minister in Ireland saying, we don't want to, but we don't want to be put in a situation where we take Irish people's homes and businesses and give them to Ukrainians. That's Lebensraum. That's what Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich did. They went into Eastern Europe, they ethnically cleansed, and this is what this ethnic cleansing, that's all it is. And remember, the target is not, and I'll kick the blue in the face, the target is not the immigrants or the refugees. The target is your enemy is the politicians who do this. They will constantly try to get the madness of everything. Right? The political and okay. We had a situation where a jihadist beheaded 2 gay men in this country. Right? How did gay and lesbian organisations in this country react? We want more open borders. The far right want to close the borders to protect us. Far right being anybody that isn't extreme left. Okay. Including liberals and moderates like me. Somehow we're far right now. I'm still trying to figure that one out. And so their attitude was the best way to protect gay people and lesbian people is to bring in a religious fanatical culture, jihadists who will behead them, and from countries where in many of these Islamic countries being gay is punishable by death, and throwing them off rooftops for sport. By bringing in more of that is how you make gay people safe. Are you fucking mad? You are. You are. And those of us who are trying, and again, there's lots of wonderful Muslim people out there. I'm not going to judge. I don't like, you know me, I dislike Christianity as much as I like any Abrahamic religion. Well, and there's lots of, just because Christians did evil things in the past doesn't mean all Christians are evil. The Crusades and everything. The same applies to Islam. Lots and lots of beautiful Muslim people out there wouldn't harm a hair on your head. Wouldn't even cross their minds. But there's fanatics. And there's this thing called radicalization. And many of the fanatics are not just Taliban fighters up in the mountains. They run countries like Saudi Arabia. They run countries all over the Middle East and Africa where they kill gay people as public policy. And it's to say that more of that will keep gay people safe in the West is possibly the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. But we live in insane times. And it's deliberately so because they're out to murder our souls by constantly gaslighting us. And people like us who want to protect gay people in our countries from possible attacks from jihadists were the ones attacked. That's the irony. The imaginary far right that they hate actually cares more about gay people than the liberals and the progressives do, who want to put them into more danger. This is the world we're living in. I don't know how any gay pair. I know some gay people from left England because they felt we were starting to feel very unsafe and came to Ireland, and now they're starting to feel the people that should protect them, the Irish gay and lesbian organisations, are telling them more jihadists. We need more jihadists. We need more open borders. Wave that rainbow flag. Diversity. It's beyond madness. It's a new level of insanity. And they don't care. See, that's the thing you gay people have to understand. The organisations representing you don't give a fuck about you. They're here for Klaus Schwab and the globalists. They're here for the Great Reset. And they will gladly sacrifice other gay people in order to get that. So don't assume that those organisations represent you any more than my government represents me. I know that the Irish government has a pathological hatred of the Irish people. It despises us to the core of their being. And so does the British government hate the British people and all the other Western governments. Look at Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand. They hate us with a passion. Look at Trudeau in Canada. I mean, Trudeau in Canada raiding the bank accounts of the truck drivers was a science fiction movie. We were seeing the future. And that's probably why Trudeau will fall out of favour now with the globalists. Not because Trudeau, baby Castro, for the other stuff he did, but when he raided the bank accounts, he gave people a sneak preview, a science fiction movie of what they had planned down the road with their digital currency and their universal basic income. That if you don't behave yourself, no money for you, no food for you, no housing for you, no healthcare. Well, look at the Irish politicians that came forward and said things like, if anyone shows up and they're not vaccinated, don't give them any treatment, even if they've been in a car crash. They're given, these are science fiction. When they say things like people who are unneedlecraft shouldn't get medical treatment, and they start raiding the bank account of Canadian truckers, what you're getting are science fiction movies. That's what you're getting of the future not too far down the road, if you continue to let them do what they do. And you got to wake up to this. It has nothing to do with politics, really. I hate the left, I hate the right. I'm an anarchist. I don't have any desire to run for office. I don't have anything like that. But I'm aware of madness and mass hysteria and what Dr. Robert Malone said, mass formation psychosis, when I see it. And we are living in the same period of madness that we had during the Crusades, when the Children's Crusade was sent off to the Middle East, and most of them were killed, drowned in ships off the coast of Greece and stuff like that, or were taken to sex slavery by everybody, or just, stolen or died along the way. All for the Children's Crusade to go live. We're back in those days again. We're back in the times when communities in southern France followed a holy chicken. That really happened to the Holy Land on the Crusades. We're back. And if you look at history, when you have these philosophical, you see, this is like, why can't I just have a fucking government who doesn't have a philosophical mandate and just does administration? And they won't allow us. They will not leave us alone. And we'll be okay. Don't worry. What I learned the other night in County Westmeath is the parallel society really exists. And it's not an organisation. It's not a movement. We're the new travellers. I've been taking a lot of inspiration from Irish travellers lately, and we are the new Irish travellers, or the New Zealand travellers, or Canadian travellers, or British travellers, or wherever, Australian travellers, wherever you come from. We're the new travellers. We've gone away from that. We are like the ones who were on the Titanic when it was going down, and they said stand in an orderly queue and wait for the lifeboat. And then we saw the lifeboats moving away with the billionaires on them, and the lifeboat mostly empty. And we said, well, fuck that. And jumped into the water somehow and swam to the lifeboat that the billionaires were in and got into it. While the other ones were told to wait, we must wait in an orderly queue, and we'll get on the lifeboat, and they went down with the ship. And that's the normies. They're going to go down with the ship. But the rest of us we're prospering as like, we're the new travellers. We're the parallel society, the tribe. It's real. The tribe is real. I'm telling you, the parallel society is real. We have no organisational structure. We have no rules. No, I don't sit here with a book of rules telling you to obey anything. I couldn't give a fuck if you didn't even listen to me. I'm just some gobshite from Ballymun shouting into a phone. But it's happening. It's happening organically and by osmosis. And it's a beautiful thing to see, because there's these people have all given up on politics and slipped away from it. And all to them, they now see with that clarity that's that's denied them by the dishonesty of everything in the mainstream. So we're all right. We're safe. We're safe. We're happy, and we're going to prosper into the beautiful future to come. The beautiful future that has already arrived. We in the tribe are every race, every religion, no religion, every gender, every class and social division, but we're all driven by the same thing. We want to be left alone. Sanguine gnosis. Love is all. Dog is rat!